second. We are live now. Hello, everybody.
There we go.
Woo-hoo.
This is a very
Stand by for technical difficulties. Oh. Why is it
inevitably
not working? Nancy, I don't know what I'm doing. It's great.
It says we're live.
Yeah, it says we're live. And it is live on the channel.
It is? Okay, I'm not seeing it. That's fun.
Maybe not.
Copy the link again after it's
It says off air.
live.
Yep, that's what I was worried about.
Copy the link again.
Ha 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 ha.
That's weird. It says that we're live right now.
Oh, there we go. I see.
Oh, aha.
just Yep. went
live.
Got it.
Oh, it's working now. Hello, everybody.
Yay.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
We're here. Just give it a minute, people, to find the link and get here.
Whose channel is this on right now?
Nancy's.
It's
Yeah,
should be on
we're
live
streaming
just
from
live.
me because I have a better connection.
Yes.
And we've
But it's
already
still
doubled our usual viewer count.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Hey.
Thanks, Dean.
Dean, everyone's here for you. Everyone's here for you.
Oh, jeez.
Alrighty then. 31. All right.
So,
You want to give it a couple minutes,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
you can start us off, Nancy?
sure. We can give it like 2 minutes. And the echo is gone. We fixed the echo from last week, everybody.
Yay.
Oh God, don't
Miracle.
jinx us. Knock on wood. What
To
can
the
go wrong
round
will go
table and
wrong.
the curse of the echo. Echo of doom.
But alrighty, we should probably do our introductions so we don't waste too much time.
Yep. All right.
So yeah, everybody, welcome to Let's the Round Table with special guest Dean Devlin this time. We're so happy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. I'm Nancy. My Tumblr is Excalibur Feels, and I'm from Kansas, but right now I'm currently living in Alabama.
And I'm Maggie. I am in Florida, and I'm Flynn's Carnation on all social media.
I'm Sansa-chan. I'm from Singapore. Yeah, and I'm Sansa-chan everywhere, basically.
I'm Summer. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm fangirl theories on pretty much everything.
I am Bex. I'm in Spain. I'm from Mexico, and I'm Carix Mompay on Twitter and Flynn Eagle on Tumblr.
Okay. Kira's just not talking.
I'm Kira Ann. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and social media doesn't matter that much to me. I'm pretty much my name on anything that matters. So hi.
I'm Amias. I live in Maine, and I'm currently in Maine for college. And I am cuckoo on all social media.
I'm Rachel. I'm from New York City, and I'm Battleships on pretty much every social media. Sometimes with the E, but usually without.
And I'm Alex. I'm from Florida, and I am World Class Thief on Twitter, and Huckleberry Kim, and FBI Librarians, and Good Day John Kim on Tumblr.
Those are only the important ones.
Yeah, there's like 50
So
more.
we've all got questions for Dean, obviously, and I'm watching the chat and Twitter, so you can talk to us at hashtag Let's the Round Table or at Let's Round Table if you want to ask Dean questions or ask us questions, and engage in the chat as well. So now, Sansa-chan, you have a lot of questions. If you want to start.
Well, I don't know where to start. Okay, maybe the first question, very first question. Is Charlene's death the death that we've been talking about? Are we expecting more?
Well, I think I'll answer that question after next week's episode airs.
Oh,
I told you there was a
That's what I would do. I'm on your side. Don't tell them. I don't want to know.
just gonna have our hearts broken next week. I'm prepared for it.
I mean, we
I'm
got them
excited.
broken last week too, so yesterday.
What did you all think of last night's show?
Oh my
It
god.
was great.
It was
I
really great.
cried a lot. Those
I
are
was
some
sobbing.
Those are some awesome tattoos for sure. That's gonna be fun.
Right.
I love stuff like that. I love
This
forcing magic on the one who doesn't want it. That's great.
Yes.
He's like, no, I don't want this, and no, well, you got it now.
I love the Monkey King.
That was-
He's my new favorite.
I
He was
know.
great.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I'm glad he didn't die. He's the best.
Too.
What a man.
The whole idea about the tattoos was actually Christian Kane's idea. He came to me
Of
with
course.
these drawings he had made and said,
my
wouldn't it
God.
be cool if I ended up getting a magical tattoo? And so we worked it into the season.
That's
I love
There
amazing.
you
Christian
go.
so much.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so glad.
Me too.
That's great.
It's
That's what I
like
would
just
do.
the perfect like thing for his character, just because of how against he is with magic. Get something put on him that is magic. He's like, I don't want this, but well, you're gonna have it either way. How it is.
No Wily's
I'm so glad we got Shangri-La back though.
Yes.
I knew Jenkins. That's who Jenkins was talking about. I'm glad. I love being right. It's my favorite thing.
I
That was
kinda had,
beautiful.
like suspicion it had to be someone that we knew, but I wasn't entirely sure. I was like, it could be someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's someone we probably have seen before.
I mean, who isn't in love with Charlene?
Well, we've been
That's
dropping
fair.
hints about it since the second episode of the first season. So I'm glad that some people picked it up.
So that's why he hates Judson, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's a good
Now you
reason.
know why.
I love Ben and Rockwell
Some
in
good-
this episode. It was so great.
Yes. Rockwell was amazing.
I'm actually rather curious since we brought up Charlene and Jenkins. Since Jenkins has all those ties to Camelot being Galahad, does that mean Charlene and Judson have those ties as well? If you can tell us if that's not like major league spoiler or anything.
No, there was just a moment in time where that universe intersected with the creation of the original library in Alexandria,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's where they met.
I knew it. I'm sorry. Die.
I also like, I know it's just little details and stuff. I always really appreciate there being callbacks to like the movies, because there's just that deep connection between the movies and the now TV series.
Yes.
Well, we tried to make these last 3 episodes as if they were all movies, and next week is the biggest one we've ever done.
So excited.
Me
Oh
too.
my
Does
god.
that mean we're
Oh,
expecting
you know
more
that.
tears next week?
I might not sleep for a week.
There's literally over 300 digital effect shots in next week's episode, and just to give you an idea of what that number means, the original Independence Day that I made only had 370 shots in it.
Dang.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Was that
That's
why?
impressive.
Was that why Brad was still working on it that time when he joined us for the stream?
Poor
Yeah.
Brad.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last one.
Was that why Brad was still working on it when he joined us on the stream?
Oh, who joined you on the stream? Brent?
Brad, the special effects supervisor.
Oh.
He joined us and said he was still working on the finale, and we were
Yes.
making fun of him for slacking, and I guess didn't.
Wow.
Turns out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be delivering shots right up until it airs.
That shows what laymen know. Shame on
Hey.
you guys. If I had been here, I would have known better, let me tell you.
Well, I really liked the special effects from this episode. They were really good.
They were fantastic.
They were.
Special effects
That
this whole season.
tattoo.
Yes, the whole season. They were amazing.
Yes, the entire season. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. This
That's what
entire
I really
season in
like.
general has been fantastic. Like,
That's what I really like about a lot of TV shows, is just the fact that you get bigger budgets each I was about to say semester, each season that you get, just because you get more people following and more like people going. That is just, special effects have been getting better and better each season. It's really awesome to see that.
Well,
Sorry, I
I'll
just
tell you,
started
the
thinking
team
about
that
the
works on
Minotaur.
this, they're kind of brilliant. They're kind of a brilliant group. Unfortunately, we don't get more money each season, so we're still operating on a tiny, tiny budget. But we have some incredibly gifted people who work really, really hard to try and make stuff look bigger and better and wilder.
Oh goodness!
Wow.
You guys are doing a great job with it.
Seriously.
Oh, happy.
Holy-
I can't get over the what was it? The mirror shots from our last episode before this week's. How you guys
Yes.
shot directly into that mirror and still cut out the vampire's reflection as well as the reflection of the camera. Like that was actually really cool in my mind, even if it's something probably pretty simple.
It was trickier than you'd think because it wasn't a proper mirror. It was just a stainless steel door. So it wasn't quite as easy to manipulate, but the mirror shots that we do in the library are a little bit easier. Next week, there's actually a surprise that'll happen in the mirror. So keep your eye out for the mirror shots in next week's episode.
Oh,
You're just
Thank you for telling us that.
Yeah, that's always interesting to do, is getting rid of stuff in filming. Like, masking can be so difficult, especially if you have them, like, funneling masks. And even more complicated going on with more video effects. It just sometimes causes such a headache.
Yeah.
We got
And
an
the sheer volume.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was gonna say we got
No,
an
because-
interesting.
and just the sheer volume of how many effect shots we have to do and how little time we have.
It's amazing, yeah.
We got an interesting question from the chat since we're on the topic of special effects. Little Smiles 86 just asked, Monkey King tail. Oh, was the Monkey King tail work a combination of special effects and an actual tail, or just special effects?
That was 100% CG. So the obviously the Monkey King himself doing those flips, that was all real, but we animated the tail after the fact. And you're all pretty young, so I don't know if you guys know who Ernie Reyes Jr. is, but he's kind of a hero of mine, and he not only played the Monkey King, but he did all the fight choreography.
the choreography was amazing. It was
It was
so
Choreography
good.
was amazing.
And I'll tell you a little story about Ernie Reyes. He was, I think, a sim in martial arts. He was a child star. He had had a TV series. He had had a couple TV series, but a year ago he was very, very ill and with a liver disease, and a lot of people thought he wasn't going to make it. And I had a wonderful phone conversation with him at the time. And I said, if you can find your way out of this, if you can pull yourself together and find some way to beat this, you'll do a guest star on my show. And a year later, he walked into my office looking great and said that he'd been training and pulling his life together. And so we created the role just for him.
Oh, that's so great.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a very special guy.
One of my favorite scenes from this episode was Cassandra and Ezekiel going undercover. I just love when those two have scenes together. It's like one of my favorite things ever.
I always appreciate when John Kim does stuff in the background, like particularly in the second episode of the season, and then this episode where he's just reacting in the background to what Sandra was saying at the time.
Ezekiel trying not to
There's
talk.
so much character to him.
Did you like their pirate outfits?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, I loved it.
Like, that's my wow.
I am so thankful for the wardrobe department. So thankful.
The wardrobe this season is
Online last
amazing.
night,
Best
I wanted Cassandra to keep her hair like that.
I do
Yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Land Pirate Cassandra for the win. And speaking of costumes, who was the one who decided Eve would be wearing a lot of jumpsuits? Because yes, thank you.
She's wearing overalls like all the time now.
Yes, all the time. Oh my God.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of calls that people want Cassandra to keep her hair that way.
I agree.
It was not the worst style.
I think Cassandra should like switch up her hair every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like what's
Maybe
been
she
going
could-
on with her character? She's been going through a lot of stuff the last few weeks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was just
That's really interesting.
It's funny that she got that they wanted to keep that hairstyle right after she kissed a girl, because that's like the most stereotypical gay hairstyle in the world. I'll tell you that right now. Every bisexual girl in middle school does her hair like that. You know, like that's the hairstyle. Not to be stereotypical. I think I can say that. I'm pretty gay. No, for 2 years. I used to do that to my hair every day.
That hairstyle.
Oh yeah.
If I had actually put
I'm the braid master. You have no idea. But
I do actually want to give you a big thank you for what you did with Cassandra, Dean, because a lot of us in this podcast are actually queer, and that was great for us to see, and I'm sure for a lot of other fans of the show to get the chance to see another bisexual character on TV. That was done so beautifully.
And a bisexual character that isn't actively being killed or stereotyped. That happens a lot in media.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely not many stereotypes in this show. That's for sure. If they are, they're just funny. But it was
there's
a lot of people didn't like
other episodes where girls had big crushes on her, and
Yes.
a lot of people have been saying, "Are you ever going to take that extra step, because it feels like you're just trying to duck it?" So we decided not to duck it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to see
You have no idea how much it hurts when people do duck it, because then it just feels like we're just a joke too, you know? Like, it doesn't even matter, but it does. So thank you. It was an interesting build-up too, because so many shows make a joke out of it, but then don't go anywhere, and that just makes a lot of people angry in the end, no matter where you go. But this was a very positive direction to go. So hopefully it makes up for it. For all the hate people have been giving it on Facebook. Oh my gosh. But we had to deal with them the whole time.
Yeah, we've called that from way back, and we've been dealing with it.
Listen, I can understand why some people got upset about it, but I think to some degree when you're in the third season of a show, a lot of people start to write their own show in their head. And then when the show doesn't go in the direction that they're imagining it, they get upset. So I get it. But I think the thing is, a lot of it just comes because they watch the show, they like the show, and then they don't like the direction it went. And hopefully, by the time we wrap it up, everyone's going to be real happy. And if we can't please everybody, well, that's okay too.
Well, I don't think you have to worry very much about any of the few people who might have been so upset to leave a whole great show for that, because there are a lot of people who gave up on the show early on or whatever for whatever reason, and now they're scrambling back to get back into it, and hopefully they'll like the rest enough to stay. But it's a pretty good instigator to get a lot of people back into it, let me tell you. So your next season, hopefully if you get it, should see the results of that more than it sees the hate, if I know my fandom.
I'll tell you, the thing is, what I've always tried to do with my work, and it works more often than it fails, I try to just make the show I want to see, because I'm a fanboy and I'm a geek and I like this kind of stuff, and I figure if I like it, there's going to be people who want to see it too. But I think where we make a mistake often in Hollywood is when we try to make movies that we think somebody else would like, and then it's a very cynical process. So the developments of these characters this year are just because that's where I wanted to see the show go, and there's enough people who just share my love of genre and enjoy seeing the show be surprising as opposed to completely predictable.
Which is also something that I've noticed with a lot of things, just in general life. If you try to force something to be good for someone else, it almost always feels staged and kind of fake, compared to if it's your true passion to do something and make it your own, and it generally tends to appeal to people better than it would if you tried to force it upon yourself.
I think that's right. I mean, I think we sometimes we see these blockbuster movies and they feel very, very cynical, and other times they feel genuine. And I in my mind, the biggest difference is when the people doing it are true fans of it, as opposed to looking at it as a career move.
Very true. I feel that.
The passion pours out of this show, that's for sure. I think that's why it's my favorite. I definitely think that is. It's just, you can just feel it. It feels very
You can
good.
feel the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's very genuine, and like you can tell that you care about the characters, about the plot.
I think part of it is shooting in Portland, Oregon, because there's a sense of community with our crew and our cast that you don't really see that often when you make these shows. You know, usually these shows, there's ability and egos and craziness that goes on off screen, and this show is kind of not like that. I mean, this is a group that's really become close and really cares about what they're doing. I mean, the whole storyline of Cassandra having a crush on Jenkins came from Lindy. She came to me at the beginning of the season and said, "You know that my character has a wild crush on Jenkins." And I said, "Well, I saw you playing some of that last year, but I didn't know the extent you wanted to do it." And she goes, "I wanted to." She said she wanted it to come out at some point, so we let it come out.
Oh, we saw it. We weren't surprised. Some people were, but we weren't.
You were way ahead of it.
Yeah. Can I ask whether we will ever find out about Ezekiel's parents? Will we ever find out about Ezekiel's parents?
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, you know, this season in the Cindy episode, we found out about his economic situation growing up and how that turned him into a thief to begin with. But at some point, yeah, we're going to learn a lot more about where he came from and also what he did for the British government when he worked for MI5.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That's really cool, just because compared to like Eve, Jake, and Cassandra, Ezekiel's always kind of been more of the enigma in the group because there's so little of his past that we actually really know clearly until recently, where he started actually talking about his past a bit.
Well, I think a lot of Ezekiel's facade has started to peel off, and you know, it started last year with the video game episode, and there was a big question at the end of that episode if he remembered what had happened or if he was pretending he didn't remember so he could, you know, go on. And what we tried to have come out in the Cindy episode was the idea that he did remember and that it had changed him, but he didn't want the world to know that.
Yeah, that was something a lot of us were talking about when the finale of season 2 came out, because we felt like what he was talking about when cornering Prospero was heavily hinting towards that he remembered.
That's right. You guys pay attention.
Oh, yeah. we pay too much
What
attention.
else do you think we do?
No! We watch these episodes many times.
Well, you know, we've been talking about passion, and you know, I mean, I think that's why you do pay attention, because you find shows you care about them. The picture on the wall behind me is actually a painting done of my mother when she was on the original Star Trek, and that was my first passion show when I was a boy, because she'd been on the show, and she came home and she brought home a phaser and gave it to me, and that was, you know, giving heroin to the junkie. So I began my addiction off of that show. And, you know, clearly, you know, you can see in this show references to all the other shows I'm addicted to, especially Doctor Who.
Yes.
So I think when people fall in love with shows, they tend to pay attention.
I keep commenting about how the music like seems so much like Doctor Who in a very good way, like not repetitive or anything. Just it has like that feeling.
Yeah, it has like a little mixes of the 11th Doctor's theme in it, and it makes me really happy because the 11th Doctor's theme is really cool, and just seeing little bits of that in some of the music is just great.
Well, you know, I'm so jealous of Doctor Who because they get to record their music with a full orchestra, and we don't have that kind of money. So our composer, Joe LaDuca, has been trying to mix in some real orchestral stuff that we record in Utah, and the rest is all electronic stuff he's doing in his recording studio in Detroit, Michigan. And when we did the first Librarian movie together, the mandate was to let the audience know through the music that it was okay to laugh at the show, that the show had its tongue firmly pressed into its cheek. But one of the things that I learned from Doctor Who was that you didn't need to do that anymore, that you could just go for genre and actually let the music do the opposite. Let the music say, hey, it's okay to take this seriously, even though it's kind of silly. And that's really where we got those influences from the Doctor Who music. So you'll still hear some of the original themes from the Librarian movies, but it's now shifted into a different message for the audience.
Can I ask about Baird and Rockwell?
Yes, absolutely.
This origin story between Baird and Rockwell, was it something you thought of in season 1 or something you incorporated in season 3 as the direction of the story, of where the story is going? And how is it going to affect like the greater mythos of Eve Baird, the guardian worth more than 1,000 librarians or something?
Well, excellent question. A lot of that will be answered next week. But I will throw at you guys, if you remember in the first season, there was a moment when Flynn brought to Baird a paper that she could sign.
Yeah.
And if she signed it, that meant the transfer papers. So we learned last night that those transfer papers came from Rockwell. So Rockwell has been trying to manipulate the situation to place Baird in the library for this whole time, but Baird has been completely unaware of that.
I know. I loved that was unreal.
I got very confused at one point when she was saying that like undercover operatives can sometimes lose a sense of themselves, and like it's a form of Stockholm syndrome, because Baird didn't know that she was undercover. So like how is she supposed to know not to get attached to them? Like that's an excellent, confusing.
That's an excellent point, and probably a flaw in the episode. But we wanted to make it an episode that was really all about mentorship. I mean,
yes.
She was her mentor, and the King was being the mentor for Jake, and in many ways, Charlene was a mentor for Flynn. And whenever you have a mentor, it's going to stretch your loyalties. And so Baird has a big decision to make, because she did swear an oath to the United States government, which is represented by Rockwell. But she's also seen an entire universe that she didn't know existed since she's joined the library.
Yeah, the thing is, like, even though it's kind of like a flaw in the episode, it's also going in like two different point of views, because Eve didn't know that she was essentially a sleeper in the library, but her mentor did, and it could be in the perspective of her mentor being like, this is how this is going to happen, this is how I plan it's going to happen, but that's not actually what has happened, because Eve was just completely unaware.
I think maybe Rockwell assumed that Eve wouldn't get attached and be the soldier that she trained her to be.
Maybe she would have, like, maybe she would have seen, or maybe Rockwell assumed that Eve would perceive the librarians as a threat, the way that she does.
I think that's exactly right. From the perspective of a U.S. government, a cult-like organization that controls items that can cause mass destruction would not be something that would be tolerated.
But I thought the government knew about it. I mean, like, from the movies, like Justin was saying, the government got the idea of the 230s. Yeah.
I think we've tried to play it that they know enough about it as much as perhaps the government knows about UFOs and doesn't talk about it. They know enough, just not everything.
Okay.
They know the bare minimum.
I have a currently completely unrelated question that is still
Sure.
about the show, but I've been trying to find a way to segue it in and I couldn't. There's been a lot of artifacts and like people from Christianity, and I was wondering if we'll see any from like Judaism or other currently practiced religions, like the Shield of David or Miriam's Well.
Yes, for sure. Although I think one of the things that we tried to establish this year was the concept that ancient magical artifacts are only ancient because that's when the ley lines were active, and now that the ley lines have been active for a couple of years, new artifacts are showing up. So in the future of the show, our hope is to really mix classic artifacts like what you're talking about, along with creating brand new ones that we don't even know exist.
I really like that.
Kelly asks in the chat, are there any plans for Atlantis next year?
We definitely have plans for Atlantis. I don't know if it'll be next year, but yeah, there's a lot of plans to try and go in that direction. But we want to get the Ladies of the Lake back. That storyline is still out there and needs to come out. And we even want to bring back some characters from movies that we haven't seen for a while. So
that would be fun.
That, we get renewed
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I really liked Flynn's little mention of Atlantis this episode.
I'm sorry.
My Stargate heart was happy this season.
On the note of bringing characters back, are we going to be seeing Morgan anytime soon?
I'd like to bring Morgan back, and I'd like to bring back Moriarty. So,
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. Moriarty was
Please.
amazing.
Moriarty.
Will we see Estrella again?
I'm sorry?
Will we ever see Estrella again?
Oh,
If I
for
could
sure.
Just pronounce her name.
We're definitely going to see
Yes.
Yes.
her again. And we'll probably
She's
see
great.
Cindy again, too.
Yay, Cassandra's
Oh,
got
that'd
a
be cool.
girlfriend.
Oh wow, poor Mabel.
Oh, yeah, Maple's still.
Jake's the only one that doesn't get his girlfriend back. Bummer.
So who in the cast is the least like their character or most like their character?
Probably John Kim is the least like his character.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
No, it
not at
doesn't.
all.
None of us surprised by that.
Yeah,
He's
he's
such a
actually a
sweet
very
person.
humble and sweet guy. So, you know, he feels very uncomfortable playing such a narcissist every day.
I know Noah Wiley isn't very much like his character either. He's directly stated that before. He's like, I'm very much not like Flynn at all.
Yeah, in every interview he's so calm. So
When we cast him in the first movie, I was very worried about it because I really only knew him from ER.
Hmm.
And I had no idea he had such good comedy chops.
Yeah, because
when I
coming from
discovered
ER, he was like,
Yeah, he's very serious, very dramatic character. And suddenly we're on set and he's doing kind of vaudeville comedy and great physical comedy. So once, you know, literally within the first week of shooting with him, we started rewriting the script because we suddenly realized we had a guy who could do a lot more than we thought he could do. And
Yeah,
he's
like,
never
you
failed
could
to
see-
surprise me.
like you could see it because I watched a great deal of ER where he gradually came out of his shell since ER was like one of his first big TV debuts. Over the 11 seasons he was there, you could see him as an actor develop a lot. So it probably made it much easier for him to go into the Librarians with that experience.
Well, he also has an incredible encyclopedic mind. I mean, he's so well read. He knows so much more about culture that predates his age. So he's able to do a lot of. I mean, that's why his episode that he wrote was so good. I mean,
I know.
when
I
he
love
t-
that episode.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the smartest puzzles we've ever had on the show, and that was all him.
That's incredible. I mean, like, I'm
Basically,
already.
the only
freaking
thing I
out.
gave him is I said I want to do it. I told him I want to do an episode that takes place mostly on an airplane on the way to the Bermuda Triangle, and then
He just kind of took off from there.
yeah, he's really brilliant.
That's also something I've always really appreciated in this series is just the amount of research and authenticity that's put into the mythology and other things to a lot of the artifacts and such.
Well, we've got a little research team, and again, most of our writers are big fans of genre. You know, we had Mark Altman was on our writing staff this year, and I don't know if you know Mark, but Mark literally wrote the book about Star Trek, you know, and knows every single episode backwards and forwards, and he's been involved in several magazines, including Sci-Fi Universe, which is where I met him. So, you know, just a wealth of knowledge about this kind of stuff. And we also invited 2 writers from Doctor Who to join us this year. So 2 of the episodes were written by Doctor Who alumni.
Yeah, I was wondering what the writer's room is like in your process for coming up with crazy ideas for these episodes.
Well, I can speak to this season because I wasn't the showrunner before this season. John Rogers was the showrunner the first few years, and that worked differently. I worked with John, and John worked with the writers' room, so I really wasn't involved in the writers' room until this year. Writers' room, and basically I laid out the arc of what I wanted the show to be this year, and I had a bunch of episode ideas, but they weren't fleshed out. And once I brought it into the room, you know, they're so smart, they're so clever. Some of, you know, a couple of writers have been with us from the beginning, others were brand new to the show, and everybody just jumped in with wild ideas, and then we would all argue with each other and build on top of ideas until we finally had stuff that we really liked.
That's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
I don't know if this is good to say, but this season is by far my favorite.
Oh,
So whatever you're doing, it's fantastic.
I don't know.
I'm doing what you're doing.
I'm pretty equal with season 2, but maybe this last episode will win me over the full route, you know.
That's like the joy of writing, though.
I think this season is a little bit more like the movies were. You know,
that's true.
When I went to take over the show, I didn't want to try to do an imitation of what John Rogers can do, because frankly, I'm not anywhere near as smart as John Rogers, and I think he's one of the best genre writers on the planet. So I said, rather than trying to be an imitation of somebody else, I better just do what I do best. And since I'd been really the one running the movies, it tended to go a little bit more in that direction.
That's always been like a joy of writing, because even in like writing in groups, there's always going to be these disagreements and stuff, but it's always best when you all can find like some middle ground and build up from there, where you find stuff that you dislike and stuff that you're like, oh, you know what, this actually would work.
Mm-hmm. But you know, when I was watching your show a couple weeks ago, I thought the way you guys talk about the show is very much like how the writers' room is. You know, you've got a bunch of people who are all fans of the show in the room arguing over the way characters are behaving and what their arc should be. So in a way, you guys are like a writer's room when you get together and do this.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's a scary thought. We're a madhouse.
Yeah, I love to be in that writer's room.
What did you think the writer's room for every show you've ever loved looked like? I have no doubt this is a pretty good
Imitation,
yeah. Like,
although the 2 writers who came from Doctor Who told me that in England they don't have writers' rooms.
Do tell.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So neither of them had ever actually experienced a writer's room before, and they actually enjoyed the process quite a bit because they hadn't done that before. I guess on Doctor Who, they would write episodes and submit them, and they said it could be up to 2 years before they got notes on anything.
Oh, wow.
Doctor Who is more like an institution in itself, though.
Yeah.
I would be terrified to write for Doctor Who. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? That would be terrifying. We're writing for Star Trek, you know, like stuff that's that old.
Yeah. And you have that much to compete against.
Well, I'm directing a movie, and the star of the movie is David Tennant. And
yes, Bad Samaritan, right?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. And I tell you, it's funny because, again, I'm such a fanboy that I'll forget that I'm directing the movie, and I'll just be watching the monitor like I'm watching a TV show or something, and he'll be done, and I'll forget to say cut because I'm waiting to see what's going to happen next. You know, so I have to go, oh, right, cut. We're done.
That's amazing.
That's so great.
I have to go. So it was so nice talking to you, Dean, and just thank you so much.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye.
Bye, Rachel.
Well, I should probably do too. So if there's any last questions before I go, I'm happy to answer.
When do you guys shoot the episodes? When do you guys usually shoot the episodes?
Well, it depends. It really depends when the network picks up the season. Usually it's just before the summer through to the end of the summer. Last year we were done shooting this season we finished in August. So, but we actually got picked up earlier last year. We still haven't been picked up for season 4 yet. So it'll be a bit of a race to get us up and running in time.
Yeah, well, we wanted to do a big Let's meet up in Portland this year if you guys get renewed.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea. You should do the show from the set.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
It's so far away from where I live, though.
It can make.
I think
It's
you
not
just
far
gave me a
away
heart
at all.
attack, Dean. I actually,
I could.
I just had a heart attack. Okay. Seeing the annex set.
Well, you're
I'm
all
there.
invited. If we come back, you're all invited to come do the show from our set, okay?
Oh my
I'm
god.
there.
I'm there. I'm buying my ticket to Portland now.
I have a question.
I'll fly from
That's
Singapore all the
probably
way.
completely random, but it's been bugging me since I first watched season 1.
Sure.
In season 1, at the end of the first season, in Ezekiel's alternate life, he had a weird white stripe in his hair. Was that just a weird costume thing, or is that important?
Well, that episode is a potential future version of all 3 of our librarians. And I think Baird has made the assumption that that is inevitably who they're going to be. But I think what she's starting to discover, and will more next season, that no matter what vision you have for your children, you can't make them become that vision. So I think that that the version of him as a scientist with the white stripe in his hair is one version that he may evolve into, but he also may evolve into something very different. So we're gonna have to see what happens next season.
Children.
Children.
Oh my
Children.
Yeah, I mean,
Intriguing as always.
of course, it's just like in the past few episodes with Flynn and Eve literally deflecting on each other about talking how they're essentially their children, and someone has to be the stable one in the relationship.
I think my favorite family Pasado moment was in season 2 when she's freaking out when they're on their own, like a mom whose kid just went to college. That reminds me of when my sister went to college and my mom tried to call her every week. It's a fun metaphor.
Well, the initial idea for the series was John and I were talking about what if somebody was killing off the future librarians, and those librarians had to become librarians before it was their time. So that's why in the minds of Flynn and Baird and Jenkins, all 3 of the others weren't meant to be librarians yet. They're proving themselves constantly and showing that they are going to be fantastic librarians, but they're not quite the best versions of themselves yet. And so this season was about Baird trying to accelerate that growth.
It's been a really great one, for sure. It's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, and the thing
guys,
is,
thank
like-
you for letting me. Thanks for letting me be on the show today, and I love you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Can't thank you enough for watching the show and talking about it, and I hope everybody watches your hangouts because they're the coolest thing in the world.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, we think you're the coolest thing in the world, so there we go.
Yeah. It's a full circle.
Well, thanks. Take care, guys.
See ya. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 There we go.
Oh my
Holy Devlin, everyone.
Fuck. I'm right about everything ever. Bye. Sorry.
He tunes out.
I
He
can't.
will immediately swear.
But
Anyway,
he's probably
thanks,
still
Karen.
watching. So.
Exactly.
I can't believe I turned my. I don't even care. I need to express myself. I can't believe I tried to turn my camera off because it was glitching, and I was like. Oh God.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna go bury myself in the Mariana Trench. If you've ever seen the movie Sanctum, you know where to find me.
Everyone in the chat's just freaking out as well.
Goal number one,
Like,
Dean
people are just
Devlin
like,
has
that
been
just
reached.
happened. That seriously just happened.
It's like
Sabrina
it's
said
so
she loves us
amazing
very much.
that we like Nancy just started this a couple months ago. Like, yo, this would be kind of fun to do, and suddenly we had the showrunner talking with us, and we're like, what? How did this happen?
I know, it's only
And we have our highest viewer count ever, which I actually want to say thank you for. We are at 43 viewers. We usually only get about 20. It's like double our usual. So, like,
thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much, guys.
Thank you to none of you guys for immediately dropping out after Dean left. It's great. I was assuming that was going to happen in the
We have
first place.
45 now.
Woohoo!
Do any of you guys want to have anything else about this episode you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, anything at all. The chat is free reign. We still have our usual suspects. It'd be nice to see some other people. And if you want to say anything else, anything, you can tag or you can tweet us at hashtag Go to the Round Table.
Come on, you know you guys want to talk about it.
Oh wow. What am I jinxing?
I really enjoyed the Cassandra and Eve scene at the beginning of this episode.
That was really nice.
Yeah. And I also like how I want to mention it before Dean left, but he had to get going. So I also really appreciated how in the beginning, like in season 1, Eve was like, "You guys had to do this. I'm like your officer essentially," and they're like, "We're not soldiers," and her trying to accelerate them. Compared to now, where she's like gently going like, "We need to push you in this direction." She's not like forcing them to do stuff. She just was like, "I recommend you try doing this," and they're like, "Oh, hey, I can do that," instead of just pushing them. I actually have to get going because I've got like 12 minutes before I have to go to a meeting, and then I have another one after.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. I'm at work right now, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.
Are we staying for a little bit more
Absolutely.
to talk?
We still have a couple more.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines from this episode is when Ezekiel was like, multiple levels of suckage. It made me laugh. Oh my goodness.
Well, on the topic of Ezekiel, I have been thinking about this a lot and how they're turning into their Luma Fate selves a lot and how Ezekiel isn't really. And I went to John and I asked him about it. And he said that he's kind of the anomaly in the sense where they are all becoming themselves really, and he is the only one where it's like it's really hard to explain in a way that he explained it. He's kind of just stepping into the role as the newest, youngest librarian. That's his thing right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're going to explore Ezekiel's heritage or what, because we have Jake getting his new magic tattoo and Cassandra's gift is at a whole other level. I'm wondering if Ezekiel's going to get something or if they're going to reveal that he already have a special power that we just don't know yet. Because it seems like they're leveling up the characters is what it seems like they're doing.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're growing and evolving as characters, character development in the first place. So it makes sense. Oh, we were stuck on Summer that whole time because I wasn't paying attention. Sorry about that.
Yes, no, Bailey. Now that Dana's gone, we can talk about John Kim's Arms's outfit. And his purple pants!
Everyone was just waiting for that because I could scream about that purple shirt for days.
The purple pants.
Earrings.
Okay. The pants.
Oh,
the pants.
The purple shirt, the earrings, just everything. And Mark Altman was on the show. Cassandra's was everything. It reminded me how gay I am. But
well, actually really interesting, and I think this is pretty much overlooked by a lot of people, but Ezekiel is pretty much the first one to know that Cassandra can do a lot of her mind talents. Besides Eve, who's figuring out a little bit, he's the only one that's actually been affected by it. In the So I think there will be more of that coming up.
Yeah, that scene in the train was really cool. just Cassandra speaking Chinese, her and Ezekiel mouthing to each other, and her figuring it out.
It was the whole scene. Great.
I feel blessed.
Fantastic. I understood what Dean was saying about it being like the movies, because the movies were very action packed, and it was like one thing after another thing after another thing, and like that's what the finale. I almost said this was the finale because that's what the finale is usually like, but this episode was very similar to that, like constant action.
I loved it. It's probably too soon to call, but I feel like this might be like one of my favorite episodes of the show, like entirely.
It was very good. And John's background acting struck again, which is always fantastic. I like
one of my it was this little thing, but after Cassandra said the thing about his jaw, when he drank the cup, he just let it all spill out of his mouth.
Like that was
to keep the cover up.
Genius move on his part. So if we had had John for longer, I would have been like, "Hey, did you like tell him to do that, or did he just do that for fun?" Like,
speaking of
all these little bits.
That candle.
We never got to ask. That was another one on the list. But
that's a trick candle. I refuse to believe anything else.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a trick birthday candle. There's no way it's not a trick birthday candle.
I'm wondering.
Well, I actually have to get going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got like a minute left of my computer battery, so I'm gonna
run.
Bye.
Turn down your.
I'm actually leaving.
Oh.
Bye. Bye. Nice talking to everybody.
It was so much fun.
And then there were 4. Everyone came for Dean and then left.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need. This is obvious, but the end of this episode was so emotional and had us all crying.
I was trying to say it in the beginning, but everyone was talking. It's just like I can live. I can hold it back till I can scream about it later. But like Noah Wiley's performance, like this got sold for me.
I know. That's when I really started crying.
That was the most emotional part to me because he did such a freaking fantastic job. Like I cannot get over how great he was.
And I'm still crying about Jenkins and Charlene and him calling her his love and everything.
John Larroquette's a blessing onto this earth. Like, the fact that he's on the show is just incredible.
I know, but I really feel like he's going to be the death tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week.
So
whatever
it
is.
Okay, Dean basically confirmed it with us that there's going to be another death because he refused to tell us.
Yeah.
So someone else is going to die. And I'm scared because we all guessed Charlene and Jenkins, and we're right so far. And I don't want to lose John Larroquette because, boy, can that guy act. Oh, my God, he's so great. But, I mean...
I don't want to lose Noah either.
Yeah, no, I don't want to lose any of them. None of them. Well, I mean... this hurts me to say a little because Flynn's my namesake for this show. But... if we lost Flynn and Noah wrote more episodes, I think I might be okay.
I'd be okay.
Even if
Not to be offended, but like, see the worst to lose.
I feel like Jenkins is so integral to like the team, how the team works. But then again, if they wanted to throw off the team, that would be the way to do it, would to be kill Jenkins if they wanted to throw off the way the team's been working,
which is probably what's going to happen, to be honest. So we're losing Larroquette. Oh no.
Charlene said that Jenkins is the only one left who can perform the ritual thing, and I'm wondering if anyone else is tied to the library like she is, because she said she had to sever it. So I'm like, is Flynn going to become connected to the library so he won't die? Because we know he's going to use the eyebrow from the pictures. And then he might, to fix it, they might connect him to the library and make Flynn immortal.
I think Jenkins might also be connected to the library because he had that little conversation with Charlene before he revealed that he was in love with her when the Lits and everyone came in. Because he was like, no, this isn't the only way. And I can't help but wonder if he was like willing to like have himself be like sacrificed and untethered from the library instead of Charlene.
like it's similar to the season 2, episode 5, when he was gonna let the library consume him to save everybody.
Mhm. Like that exact same kind of thing. I bet he like was thinking that the entire time. Oh my god, self-sacrificing Jenkins. I can't.
That's how it's gonna go down. He's gonna self-sacrifice in place of Flynn, and Flynn might possibly, because we know he's going to do it. So if he's not gonna die, I feel like he's gonna be connected to the library and become immortal. Because we keep talking about Flynn and Eve are going to become Justin and Charlene, and we know Eve's really important with whatever her fate is.
Mhm. And we know that there's something going on with her that's big because Charlene took the time to say something specifically to her.
Yeah, we don't know what that was.
A lot of people in the chat were actually asking about that, but I knew Dean couldn't tell us.
He wouldn't tell us.
Dean wouldn't tell us, so I just didn't even bother asking. But like a lot of people were like, "What'd Charlene say? What'd Charlene say?"
I don't, even though I wrote a fic about it, I don't think she told her about the Eye of Ra, because I don't think she was whispered long enough. She didn't have enough time to explain the whole thing, even though I wrote a whole angsty fic about that. That's an AU universe. I don't know what she said, because it wasn't something, sweet and endearing, like, take care of the library, because Eve was shocked to hear whatever it was that she said.
Yeah, so it was probably she knew something that Eve didn't know that she knew.
Probably Guardian stuff.
Someone actually brought up in the chat that it's possible that she knew that she was a sleeper agent, which I thought was an interesting idea, but I don't know. I feel like Charlene would value the library too much to, like, if she knew that Eve was being placed there by the government, that she'd, like, let it happen in the first place. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
It does to me.
But it's definitely, I'm sure we're going to find out next episode what it was.
I'm still trying to figure out the timeline, because apparently Jake had been training for 2 months and Flynn had been looking for Charlene for 8 months.
Well,
so it seems like this. It seems like they have a big.
Year. Terrible. Yeah, every season takes place over a year.
It takes about a year. So it seems like the there was just a time jump in between episode 8 and 9.
Because I can't remember. It was.
I'm still.
We're the worst.
Annoyed that we didn't get to see the whole Jake getting invited to Shangri-La whole thing.
Yeah.
It just kind of. They didn't have time to do that, obviously, but it was just like, oh, okay, he's been here this whole time, and him and the Monkey King are bros.
Yeah, I was talking about that when we were, like, testing stuff out last night for today, and, like, I still can't kind of wrap my head around it. Like, I mean, I enjoyed it, because that actor for the Monkey King was incredible. I can't remember his name now for the life of me, and I feel so bad. He had such a heartwarming story.
Ernie Reyes Jr.?
Yeah, thank you. Alex, you're the best. But, like, I still appreciate it, even though it was kind of like, oh, this is a little random. Because they were like shoving a lot in the one episode for one movie, or like for one episode that was like the movies.
Yeah, I did really like their banter of the quotes and the little smoothies. Like the little smoothie cups they had were so ridiculous, and I'm just like, I still, even though it was hard for me to understand the connection. At the end, just seeing Christian Kane's face all upset, not wanting to kill him, did hurt me a little bit.
Yeah, no, that was an emotional scene. Like, and Christian did a great job, because they're all great actors. They really are, and it makes me mad. Because we're supposed to lose one next week, and I don't want to think about it, but I am. Ugh.
Oh, man, I know, they're all amazing. For a second, when Jake was grabbing the staff and running over to the Monkey King, for a second, I thought the sun was going to set and Jake was going to be the ruler of Shangri-La and everything.
I thought the same.
And I was losing my mind. I was like, are they going to go there?
Yeah, that's what I thought too, actually, for a split second, until I realized, oh, he's running to shove it in his hand. Because he had to be in the throne room, didn't he? Was that what it was, the throne room by sunset? Or did it just have to be the staff in someone's hand?
I think if it's a new person, it has to be in the throne room.
But if it's not
since
a
the
new
Monkey
person.
King, Monkey King was already in charge, so I'm really excited about Jake's magical tattoo.
It is very cool. A lot of people were saying it was a reference to Angel, and I don't remember Christian's character in Angel, even though I watched.
I never watched Angel, but I saw a picture of his character, and he had tattoos. So I'm assuming, wasn't he? Okay, I'm gonna sound so dumb, but wasn't his character a vampire hunter in the show?
I believe so. I haven't watched Angel since middle school, which says a lot about Christian's age because he looks.
I haven't watched it at all. I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to watch.
I call any TV show that ends with a cliffhanger, like ends with a cliffhanger, and an Angel series, because that's what they did with that show, and it annoys the hell out of me. But I believe, was Christian's character still there? Wow, I can't remember. Well, I know apparently it was a little throwback to that, if they did that on purpose. But a lot of people like made that correlation.
Yeah. I did like that we got some Flynn and Jake in this episode, because we haven't had Flynn and Jake since episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. And Flynn sciencing their way out of that room was amazing.
That was actually really cool. It gave me like Major League Season 1 feels with the whole like makeshift blowtorch from a picnic lunch. It was the same concept. And that's really fun to know. Like, I wonder how much of his actual character Noah puts into Flynn. Like, Dean mentioned that he had all that like extraordinary knowledge, like as of just a person, that he was able to put into his episodes. And I imagine like he put that with his character too. Because like I always wondered like how and where do they research this stuff? And it's good to know. Like a lot of them just have the knowledge as is. Okay. Michaela Biondi, I believe that's how you say it, said in the chat, an Angel Christian Kane played a lawyer in Wolfram and Hart, and he was an evil CEO. The tats were when he left Wolfram and Hart and wanted to be hidden from them to not get punished. Okay, so we were a little off, but that's what he was, and that's what the tattoo was.
Well, I was off because I've never seen the show. So I
don't blame you.
I watched like part of season 1 because I was trying to watch Buffy and Angel at the same time as if, when they were airing. There would have been airing.
Oh. Yeah,
and so I was going back and forth watching season 4 of Buffy and season 1 of Angel, where season 4 of Buffy sucked. I'm still in the middle of it. I hate that season so much. But I haven't finished Buffy yet. I feel like a imposter in like just the universe because I haven't watched it.
I mean, I won't lie, it's not that great of a show. And I say that as viewers drop. I'll probably listen to the viewers by saying I didn't like Angel that much. I love Spike, but did not like seeing like that I don't know. I think it's just the end. The end pissed me off.
I don't know the end, so
leave it at that. I know I'm not gonna spoil it, but for anyone who knows Angel, the end annoyed the shit out of me. It's like the end of the 3rd book in the the what series? The Maze Runner series. If anyone's read that. It's like the same thing, and it just makes me mad.
I really liked how Ezekiel knew who Sterling Lamb was. Just from his picture.
I forgot Sterling was a part of his name. Yeah, that was actually cool. It reminded me a lot, again, of like season 1, with him being like, "Oh yeah, Ezekiel Jones." Like, there's so many adventures he must have had. And, like,
Sterling Lamb knows about him, and Ezekiel knows about Lamb, and just everything that Lamb said about Ezekiel was just amazing.
It was on point, obviously.
Yes, I love how
I have to go now, guys. Sorry.
It's okay. We're wrapping up.
Yeah, we should actually wrap.
But I loved how they threw the Orient Express in there. Just
that
randomly.
Was pretty cool.
Cassandra's Chinese was good. I said that earlier already.
They had experts on set for that, and I am so happy for it.
Oh, one tiny scene that made me laugh was Flynn showing off his scar, which was cool, but then they kept talking, and he kept showing it like, hey, look, guys.
He was like, admire my scar. Say something about it. No? Oh, you're not paying attention anymore? Okay, just gonna put my pant down and pretend that didn't happen. I loved that little part. Like, oh, I can't.
There's another scene like that in episode 7 where they come out of the back door and he has the umbrella, and it's just a tiny background thing. I'm like, I want to make like a gift set series of Flynn's like tiny background stuff because it's so funny.
They really I feel like on the show, they take a lot of time to make it feel real. So like characters aren't just standing around when the action's happening and they're not doing something mundane, like they're acting like real people would. Like Ezekiel's still like nursing the egg in the background and and what was it, the reunion of evil? And like those little bits with Noah and all that. And I love it because it makes the episode seem more real.
Do you guys want to real quick freak out about the finale before we end?
I'm constantly freaking out about the finale. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna die. I mean, I've already cried and died from this week and everything. Crap. What? I just realized that I might be doing something while it's live. That's not good.
Oh, I hope I'm not. That would suck. I want to be able to see it live. I miss so many live episodes from being on different sets. It's annoying, but like it's incredible, and I can't.
The thing is that it's a new thing that I wanted to try to do to meet new people, but I might just wait until the next week because if it's gonna impede the finale, I might just be like, I will do it next week.
Who needs to meet new people when you have the librarians?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I'm so excited for the finale, and it's going to be insane. We've got Eve in Dosa gear, which we assume that she's going undercover, and we have APEP is showing up and Dosa showing up at the same time, and someone's going to die, and Flynn's going to try to do the eyebrow, and...
Not even try, he's going to, because like,
he's
saw
going
it fused to his forehead in the promos. So like, he's gonna go full out on that, and oh god, we're gonna lose him or Jenkins, and I can't deal with that.
And we know that they talked about how season 4 is going to be very different from this season, which is why I'm still thinking some crazy thing. The world finds out about magic, or we go to a different dimension, or the underworld, or something.
Yeah,
I'm so glad he said that they wanted to do Atlantis stuff, because I've been interested in that since they kept mentioning it. Like they mentioned it in Point of Salvation, and Flynn mentioned it in this episode. Because when they mentioned it in Point of Salvation, they made it seem like Atlantis was dead, no one was there anymore. They just had magic at one point. And then Flynn was like, "Oh, Charlene, you can hide out in Atlantis," and I'm like, "It's a place you can go there."
Yeah, that was so cool. Like, I think the line was like exactly, I bet Jenkins knows someone in Atlantis.
I'm like, what? I had a fic years ago where Ezekiel accidentally got engaged to the Princess of Atlantis, and it was amazing, and I'm like, it could be canon now. Now it's possible. Now I want to make an Atlantis fic, but I am working on something else. I can't split my attention.
Oof. I wish we had promo pictures to look at, but we don't.
Well, there's a lot of set pictures. We know that there's trucks all around the Annex Bridge. We know that to his head. We have a picture, I think.
One of our new viewers in the chat, Michaela, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. You can yell at me if I'm not. Brought up the idea that maybe Flynn does get like killed or near being killed with the Eye of Ra, and like since those tattoos that Stone got were supposed to like light in the dark or whatever, like maybe those will somehow like save Flynn when he needs to use them, if those even come up next episode.
Well, the Monkey King did say that his thing would happen, and it's something about like the light in the darkness or something. I think about the tattoo.
It was just him giving. I'm sorry, I just remembered.
No, really, are you talking about
man who eats crackers in bed wakes up feeling crummy? I just remembered that.
Was amazing.
That was a great line. Sorry, I don't know why that just popped into my head.
Nova Lee, are you talking about the Atlantis one or my Leo and Ezekiel one? Because
yeah, she said she needs Nancy's fic. I think she's talking about the one that you have for your original character, the Guardian, with Ezekiel. I bet.
Mhm.
Oh my god. I love that one.
The Atlantis one's cool too, but that was back in season 1. I thought of that one. So Ezekiel's character is so different now. It would be even cooler, honestly.
Nobly just confirmed both. She wants both fics.
Both. Good to know.
Same.
I'm working on it, I promise. I want to see how season 3 ends to see if I can set it after season 3 or if I need to like do a divergence from season 2. That's what I'm waiting on basically. And then I can get even more work done.
Do it, please.
And no releases to me both again. Okay, listen, I will maybe I will work on something for the Atlantis thing on the side. Because I actually wrote something last night, so I feel like I'm getting rejuvenated into writing, so maybe it will happen. You guys have been talking so much.
Well, I was just looking through Twitter to see if there are any last minute questions. Looks like everyone got their fill from Dean answering all of our crazy questions.
But yeah, I still think that Flynn will be saved somehow in some weird way of like being immortal, connected to the library. Maybe Jake does something, or maybe he gets something bad happen. Team Flynn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this back. It's my last chance to do it. So this is back. Team Flynn forever.
Team Flynn. Yes, agreed. So is that our official
thank you,
theory?
Sabrina.
Aw, I should read your fic. I'm going to. I will when we go. Or we're going off air. Oh wow, we are 12 minutes over.
Glad you liked it, Michaela.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela.
It's good. You can go if any of you guys are new, you can go back and watch all our previous streams.
Yeah,
they're on this YouTube channel. You can go watch them. This one is going to be archived after we're done, and we're going to do one for the finale. We don't have a date yet, but look out for that. And we're going to try to get another special person on it.
Are we actually going for it? I'll do it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll message him tomorrow. It's happening. It's happening.
No, it's him.
I mean, there's a lot of people it could be. We could try and get Brad. We could try and get Mark Altman. Could be Noah Wiley, even though he's Twitterless and I have no way of contacting him. They don't know. It's fine.
Lindy too.
It's pretty obvious who it is.
Shush.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the new people who are here, and thank you so much for people who have been watching us since the beginning. We love you all.
All incredible.
We're so close to being done, and oh my goodness. I can't think anymore. Okay.
All right, we're gonna.
Love you guys all.
Love you guys.
Goodbye. Nobly, I saw you. Goodbye.